so twisted by men, a man, my father, that I became like one. Everything I adored about them, they deplored in me. Ruthlessness, arrogance, stubbornness.
Let's start with my motto. Pleasure is the ultimate rebellion. We have the consumerist corporate pleasures, which they want you to buy a new one every week, all the iPhone, the smartphone, the latest video, the latest technology, so that your vision of pleasure is reduced to, say, life, which is large, to a screen the size of a stamp. And back again to the motto, that's why real pleasure has to be the real rebellion. You have to get off the screen, get away from the TV. Some of my greatest pleasures are what other people would find insanity. Alone, quietly in a room before the sun comes up, listening to silence and the pounding of my heart, waiting for the wild parrots to fly down my street at 7 a.m. We have to get back to simpler pleasures, because if we have any more pleasures that are more technologically advanced, we are going to be robots. We have a certain magnetism to people. We attract the same kind of people. And I myself, for instance, 10 years ago, which isn't that long, was in a relationship I knew I shouldn't have gotten into. I knew absolutely not to go there. But the cost of the devastation of the relationship was nothing in comparison to the beauty and the genius that I thought, not only that he showed me, but that then I was able to put into song and music and literature afterwards. But the key is to know when to get out. Because it's like the same method that I have for living in cities is, I always knew I would be in a city for 2 or 4 years. That's the length of most of my relationships. But I knew going in, this has a cutoff period. And I would often tell the men when I was younger, we have 2 years, let's make the most of it and see what happens. And then I read a book sometime later that said actually the chemical reaction of being in love after 2 years completely changes. And then you either decide to get into a longer term relationship where the chemical reaction of that extreme excitement is going to mutate into something that's more affectionate and less exciting. Well, no wonder. I already knew instinctively that after 2 years it was next. But that was the folly of youth. You can enjoy that in your youth. And then we have to decide what we want. I mean, maybe it would be better if we just had relationships that lasted 1 night or 6 months or 1 year, and before they got ruinous, before they got damaging, we just said with intellect and grace. Economically, it's so hard not to live with someone right now, to maintain that independence. I mean, or you could be like I and become a gypsy and be on the road half the time, and that improves any relationships, especially the ones that you have for only 1 night.
I always thought that my pussy was a sweet, evil flower, an instrument of torture and ecstasy.
I think that men need to get more in touch with their feminine side. Women need to get more in touch with their masculine side. We need to erase these boundaries and definitions about what we are or who we are sexually or by gender. And I think we'd all be a lot happier if we could embrace more of the totality of the experience of being human.
What is your advice for a healthy sexual or whatever relationship?
I think you have to really listen to the other person with no prejudice, with no judgment, accept what they are and what they want, and never judge them, and decide then how you can facilitate and how they will facilitate you. I think the most satisfying is to feel complete inhibition with someone, knowing that no matter what you say or want or do, that they're not going to be disgusted or horrified or upset by, or even take too personally. Because so much of what we want or need is beyond the other person. And we should be just happy that we can, I'm using the word use, but I don't mean it in a negative way, that we can facilitate each other's desires for that moment in time. I think that if we just dropped, that we were just more comfortable with ourselves as well. Being able to admit exactly what you want. And it's difficult to find someone that you can really just let it all hang out with.
So honesty is the key word for you?
In some relationships. But in a sense, I had very successful relationships where I kept a lot hidden because I would go to other people to have those needs satisfied. So, I mean, it really depends on the situation. Sometimes, you know, having many different closets where you keep different parts of your personality is not a bad thing if you really want to spare the other person. But that's why maybe we all need to be bigamists or polygamists. Maybe we all need 6 husbands and 6 wives. Maybe we need to bring back the commune. I don't think so. Maybe we just need to accept how other people are, and if they need 6 other lovers, don't take it personally. Be happy that you can give each other what you can give each other. And I think part of the problem with relationships is we're forced into thinking, oh, we're going to find the one person that's going to solve everything, that's going to give us that's going to fulfill everything. Why do we put such burden on another person? I don't want to put the burden of my needs on another person, but I want to be able to be honest about them. That's the fine line from Dr. Lunch. More next time. Thank you very much.